Hi and welcome everyone. I am Friar Tuck and this is my epoch. Okay, so I am waiting for, I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for people to show up. Plus, I am in Cincinnati at a coffee shop and I only get like 45 minutes on I only get 45 minutes on here before I have to renew my connection. They put a time limit on this. So I am waiting for that to happen, and it should happen in the next couple of minutes. So you may see a quick interruption of the live stream, and then it will come back on just because I have to renew it. I thought I set it for before, but apparently it is not doing that. So I am just waiting for this to do its thing. Okay, so I'm sure that some of you guys are wondering why I am here in Cincinnati. I have been in Chattanooga for quite some time, and I want to make sure that I'm not slandering anybody, talking bad about anybody, because there's no hard feelings. I have boundaries, and my boundaries were not being respected. One of the primary boundaries is that when I was approached, I was asked and offered a partnership, not a master-slave relationship. And you know, I've stated multiple times that I did not, I was not one of those people that like to submit. I have always been this way, and it's not something I want to do. Later on, I was about to buy a bus ticket, and I decided against it because I thought I would talk it out. One of the things that was asked of me was that before I leave, that I have a talk. Well, the thing is I kept having a talk to the point to where last Monday I was actually supposed to be leaving for a different city, and I'm kind of glad I didn't go. But I decided that I'd give it one more try, because I said, this is not something that I want to do as far as, a master-slave relationship. I was told that I would get, that this was a partnership. I would not have agreed to it at any other time other than, I wouldn't have agreed to it. And so I ended up canceling my bus ticket. I lost $20 on it. Oh well, money's money. As much as I need it, it's also not something that I am, I'm not one of those people that, is driven by money. And so, about 4 days later, hold on. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I had to renew my connection like I told you I did. There would be an interruption, and that interruption came a few minutes in. So I now have 45 minutes until this live stream needs to be over before I move on. But anyways, I lost $20 on it. Plus, I also lost some other things that went along with it as well. And so, with that being said, about 4 days later, him and I are sitting down and we're having a talk. And he says to me that an act of rebellion is childish, and the fact that I am rebelling against his authority is why he treats me like I'm a child, and therefore yada yada yada. And it was something that really irritated me. But one of the things he taught me, and he's taught me quite a bit. But again, I'm not willing to deal with the master-slave relationship. I'm not one of those people that is going to submit. Even when I was in Marine Corps boot camp, I was the guy that was singled out because they had to break me, and they tried to break me, but they couldn't break me. because I'm just that headstrong. And a lot of it has to do with the way I was raised. My mom always tried to put me under her thumb, and it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I decided to buy a bus ticket, and I did my research, and I was looking around because, I didn't want to go where I knew he was going to go, which is somewhere in Iowa. I'm not going to give away the, hold on. Okay, so it says that, okay, if there's anybody in chat, would you let me know? Okay, it says that I've got excellent connection now, but would you let me know if you're able to hear it? So you're going to hear a couple of things. I'm in a coffee shop, and you're going to hear squeaking. That is the door. They need to lube the door, but can't do anything about it because it's not my place. The other thing that you're going to hear is it's a coffee shop, so they're working in the background. There's not much that I can do about it as long as I am traveling and in a public place. Okay, so anyways, so now last night I got on the bus to Cincinnati. Part of the reason why I chose Cincinnati is, I'm a West Coast boy, and I need a more progressive society. One of the things that I really didn't like about Chattanooga is that staying there at the rescue mission, you were forced to go to church even if you weren't a Christian or something like that. And even people would get a job, and if you if your job conflicted with chapel, so you had to be at chapel at 7 p.m. and if you weren't there, they would kick you out even if you had a job and you could prove to them your schedule, which is, I find that really odd. How is anybody ever going to get off the streets if they can only work from this time to this time? And then they've also can't work on Sundays because it's mandatory that you go to church. And it's something that I don't agree with, and it was something that I didn't like. Plus, the community got along well. There are certain odd things that are going on there, but the community was pretty good. And plus, just like if you watch my video on Wednesday, one of the things that I was talking about is that shelters now are starting to come up short on funds. A lot of it has to do, okay, so look at the economy. As things go up, so your cost of food goes up, your cost of living goes up, your cost for fuel is going up right now, your cost for everything is going up. Your wages are not going up, but all your costs are going up, okay? And with that being said, it becomes something that is that is very hard for anything that relies on donations to be sustainable. So, for example, let's talk about the shelters. So a lot of these shelters, they're not for profit. So being a not for profit means that you rely on outside donations, whether it be from the government, whether it be from large corporations, from the wealthy. Well, the wealthy are getting hit as well. Something that most people don't realize is that because of the cough, a lot of people are, especially the wealthy, the well-to-do, the people that are the movers and shakers, they're all losing things, and they're also ending up out in these shelters as well. And so that means that the money that would normally go to help support the homeless and the lower echelon of society, that money is not there. Plus, if you watch the interview that I did in Gainesville with the head of Grace Marketplace, we talked about costs going up, and I even told you in some of the videos that I was talking about is that their costs went up by $100,000 for the year. Well, when you're relying on donations, one, and two, your funds are top heavy, probably maybe around 20 to 60% of every dollar that you put into a not-for-profit actually makes it to the destination that you want. Salvation Army is actually the worst of this. They have been called out for this publicly in news articles where they were being talked about how 80 cents of every dollar that you give the Salvation Army actually goes to the head and goes to overhead. Only 20 cents out of every dollar actually makes it to the destination in which you're trying to do it. And a lot of not-for-profits, I don't know if it's by design, or if it's just poor management, or if it's a combination of both, or if it's just greed. Okay, but a lot of these not-for-profits, they don't really manage their money well, so the people that you're trying to help aren't actually getting the help. And so, in Chattanooga, just like in Gainesville, I've started to notice that the food portions, we used to get seconds. Now we don't get seconds. Same thing in Gainesville. Then it became, okay, well, at least you got one hearty meal a day, because, unless you want to go and separate from your gear. So in Chattanooga, you go up to 11th Street and they have feeding lines, and so you go there. But as soon as you walk in the door, and I was told this is because of state law, not by their dictation, but state law requires them to force you to leave your bag at the door. Well, you know what? You put your bag down, anybody can pick it up and walk out with it, and there's not much that you can do. Now, within the homeless community, there are consequences. There is some sort of rule of law within the community. So it's not like it's rampant, but it's still, if somebody has an opportunity, especially like if you got a $2,000 laptop in your bag and somebody knows that you have it, that they're going to be more enticed, because that's going to be able to go out and be sold, and then they can go and get whatever it is that they want, whether it be drugs, whether it be alcohol, whether it be prostitutes, whatever it may be. So now, if you have things like what I have, it becomes you become more vulnerable. Okay, so going up there is not conducive. So unless I have food stamps, which I've been out of food stamps for about 2 months now, and or unless you have actual funds, you only get to eat one time a day, and so therefore you rely on that big meal when you get down, when you show up to the shelter and you get down there, and you decide, okay, I want to eat a good hearty meal. And so now not only have they stopped giving out seconds, but over the last few days, the portions have gotten less. I've talked to staff and saying, well, what about, we usually have honey mustard. How come we don't have honey mustard? Well, I put it on the list, but it didn't get bought. And the reason being is because the shelter itself is getting less donations. This isn't just happening in Chattanooga. This isn't just happening in Gainesville. This is happening all across the country. So not only with the homeless population exploding because of the cause and effect and the unintended consequences of the shutdowns and how it affected our economy, not only that, how it affected the actual psyche of people and how they themselves are being affected. This is causing a major disruption within something that was kind of a house of cards to begin with. And so now we as individuals, on the lower echelon, like me being a traveler, we're the ones that are going to be affected by a lot of this. So, trying to find a place that you can go that is going to allow you to, and guys, again, I'm sorry about the noise. It seems like around 9 o'clock, all these coffee shops, it's like they explode. Either that, or it's as soon as I'm recording, it's like a message goes out to all of the city and says, hey, come in here to the coffee shop and let's just, So I do apologize about the background noise, and I know that it can be a little bit hard. I will look for a better place moving forward, but, a coffee shop has really been the place that I have frequented for my last few live streams, just because it's been easier. And plus I got to do it on a laptop, which means, oh, hey, Angela, thank you very much. Eat hearty. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And things like that, it just seems to happen. But anyways, without getting on the negative, because I'm operating on very little sleep last night, because on the bus, the bus driver was being combative and harassing and intimidating all of the passengers. They were talking about dragging him off the bus and taking care of him old school style, and this guy, I'm actually going to be sending off a letter to their legal department. I documented quite a bit of stuff, and so and my assigned seat was taken, so I moved to an open seat. Well, he all of a sudden, he drives about a mile down the road, stops the bus, comes back, forces me to move up to a different seat, even though I told him that my seat was not what was already taken. And I get to sit next to this 350-pound dude who's basically sitting on my lap for about 400 miles. And yeah, I'm telling you, it is not. I really didn't like it. I'm a little upset that they did that. And then on top of that, I asked him to put my bag down underneath, and then he's telling me that I'm being disrespectful to him, and he tried kicking me off the bus and leaving me behind. And if I was disrespectful to him again, he was going to leave me in the middle of nowhere. And this is just a Greyhound bus driver, man. And I'm still a little irritated about it, so I'm trying to remain in a positive mood. But yeah, I don't think I got any sleep last night. So I've been up since yesterday at 4 a.m. and I've gotten maybe a couple of power naps, and that's about it. So with that being said, getting back on topic is that, just the way that things are going is we as a society, we're slowly breaking down. So now you can sit there and say, hey, well, you could say, oh, well, SHTF is happening. Well, the thing is SHTF is only happening in the sense it's very slow. It's a slow breakdown. So as a traveler or as a prepper or as a human being, what is it that you are going to do that is going to prepare you for the future? Okay, so one thing you guys have heard me talk about is Linux and technology. And another thing you guys have heard me talk about is being able to migrate. And, your area may not be the right area for you, whether it be culture, whether it be resources, whether it be anything like that. So you as an individual, you are going to have to really sit back and do some soul searching. You're going to have to unattach yourself to all the things that you have, because due to the way that everything is going, you yourself may actually be doing yourself more harm by refusing to let go versus realizing if you don't let go, you're going to lose everything. Okay, so I looked around. I was like, okay, I could go to Chicago. They have universal basic income. That might work for me. I could go to Cleveland because it's right there. And if I really needed to escape, I could just, if I really needed to, I could escape to Canada by swimming across the lake, right? Also, you've got Michigan there as well. And you've got the whole Rust Belt. And if you guys remember when I first started out, I said, hey, you know what? I'm probably going to take the Florida Trail and then the Alabama Road Walk, and then I'm going to get up on the Appalachian Trail. I'm going to break off somewhere, go through Lexington, and I'm probably going to frequent Lexington, Louisville, and Cincinnati, and I'm just going to kind of walk between them. Well, I got pushed around in all these different directions, thinking I would go here and go there and all this other stuff. But what ends up happening, Alfred, you know what? I might, but let me get more into this, and then maybe I might answer that question. This is something that you will probably have to reach out to me via email. I'll put my email in chat for you guys real quick. That way, if you guys have opportunities and stuff, just send me an email, because it's better for me to do it there than to talk about it publicly, because we're going to want to have a private conversation. As you guys know, I'm a free roamer. I don't really stay in places very long to begin with. But anyways, getting back on topic, I said I was going to do all those things, and what do you know? I end up in Cincinnati, which is where I thought I was going to go in the first place, but didn't realize, and then thought that I wasn't even going to get to go there. So, I think that fate has its own way. So, it is what it is. And with that being said, what is it that I'm going to do here in Cincinnati? Well, there is a lot of history. One of my favorite pieces of history, you guys know down in the description, I have an article or a link to the Lee Brobst and all of his articles from Eye of the Eagle circa 89 and 90. And he tells a story about the Ohio River Valley, which is Cincinnati. And that there was a successful commune that was started here in the 1820s, maybe a little bit before. And they ended up writing a letter to James Madison and saying, "Hey, you know what? I would like to go ahead and offer you a suggestion that maybe you should institute this form of government and let it, and put it across the whole United States." And Madison wrote back and said, "You know what, your commune, it's because you're a small community and it works for your small community, but the closer you get to the East Coast, the denser the population gets, the harder it is to be able to manage somebody via regulations and all these different things, right?" So, this is where communism in America actually started. Jamestown was, but it was defeated. That's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. It represents the defeat of communism and the beginning of property rights, which is unique here to America, because over in Europe, the lords and all the royalty, they owned the land, the peasants didn't. Well, here in America, because of what happened with essentially Jamestown and them starving and having the first Thanksgiving, they gave everybody a piece of land and said, you know what, you grow your own food, you're responsible for yourself. And that's really what started the American culture that we know today of being self-sufficient, independent, and being an American means that you don't submit to anyone or anything, because you are your own king and queen. Okay. But, we have lost our way as a society, and now we're getting to see it because the institutions that we trusted to be able to manage us and to manage our society have now used that trust and abused it for their own personal profit, gain, and control. But that's because you and we allowed them by allowing them to go unchecked. So to blame them is wrong. If the blame is on anybody, the blame is on you and me, because we allowed it. We continue to elect them, like Mitch McConnell and all these other people. We keep electing them and then wonder why everything is going as bad as it is. Okay, so what is it that I'm going to do here in Cincinnati? One is I want to document some of the history. Part of changing the name to the Epoch of Friar Tuck is because I'm on a journey. I'm looking for a place to call home. I come from a West Coast, more progressive society that is more inclusive, where we as individuals are, you do you. That's really where it originated from. It's a West Coast ideal, which is you do you and I'll do me, and we'll all figure out a way to get along. And it's just the way that the West Coast is. It's very laid back. It's a very slow pace. Things don't happen fast. The further east you move, the faster things get. The more short people get with each other, and you've got a dense population. Okay, so if I'm going to settle down somewhere, I need to be in a more progressive society, and Cincinnati kind of has that history of it. So I want to check it out, see if this is the place for me, because unlike some people, they think, oh well, you got to go here and here and here, because of, oh yes, the economy is doing good, but the economy is an ebb and flow, and it may be doing good, and then all of a sudden it gets oversaturated, and now all of a sudden that great economy is no longer a great economy, and what you've set roots, you've decided to stay there long term, and that's really not a good idea in my opinion, as far as where you stay and where you go. Okay, so with that being said, you've got to be open to moving. And for me, I just, like I said, I want a more progressive society. The other thing is, sorry, I'm getting leg cramps. I've been dealing with dehydration for the last couple of days, and I am trying to not let it get to me. So, anyways, another thing I want to do is I want to look at starting a new business. I've told you guys I want to do digital marketing. My personality type is more of sales and marketing. I did that for my business. I've done sales for a majority of my adult life. I like sales. I'm a good speaker. At least I have been. And not only that, it seems to be. Sorry, guys. It seems like everybody's just yelling. So, sorry about this. I may have to end this live stream early just because of how loud it's getting in here. I don't know if you guys can hear it because these headphones are pretty good. I did have to take off the noise gate because there was such a delay. It was actually cutting out like every third word that I was doing. Okay, so Another thing is so I'm going to document the history. I'm going to document everything else. And I'm also, so I've been looking at my gaming channel. I'll let my gaming channel go away for a while. I haven't posted in like 425 days was the last time I posted there, and it seemed to grow on its own, but that's because I did a lot of tutorials for the game, and with me talking about technology and talking about Linux and all this other stuff. Okay, guys, I'm gonna close up with this thought, and I'm gonna close because these people are just getting really, really loud, and it's making me anxious. So anyways, guys, let me finish with this. All right, so what I'm going to start talking about is I'm going to start talking about hardware. Right now, from what I understand, is that Microsoft is going to be going through a process of trying to prevent Linux from being installed on any machine that they have their operating system installed, which is going to be very difficult if you buy a good machine and then you decide you want to change to something else. So the thing about Linux is you need to understand your hardware. You need to understand how what hardware works, because depending upon what hardware you get is going to be how it interacts. Now there's stuff that is more compatible with everything, as far as Linux goes. Now, Linux will also play into my gaming channel, which, if you guys are curious about it, I play a World War III game. It's called Gaming with Jason. Okay, so you guys can check that out over there. It has several hundred subscribers. It's ready to be monetized after I put a couple of videos up. But I'm going to use this channel and that channel to kind of complement each other and cross-pollinate as far as the technology. Because here's the thing: you need to have as many skill sets as you possibly can with what's coming. If you just sit there and say, well, I can only do unskilled labor, well, that's going to be taken over by robotics very, very soon. So, you're going to be starving very, very soon. If you decide I just want to do HR, well, you know what? HR may not be around, and it may change. If you have, like HR, but you have some technical background, and you have another background like such as sales, and you have leadership background and things like that. Now all of a sudden you have a basket of skills to be able to pull from. And I think that because of advanced robotics and needing to administer and maintain the robotic machines, it's going to be very, very important for us as individuals to make sure that we have that skill set, because that will be something that will be in high demand for probably the next 100 to 200 years as we go through this technological revolution. Also, I really think that understanding technology is important. Now, you want to do a Windows operating system, well, if you want to own nothing and be happy, that's the system for you. If you don't really want to self-educate yourself and you don't really want to learn, well, that's for you, okay? But, with that, sorry guys, I've got leg cramps again. But with that being said, that's kind of the direction of the channel that it's going to be going. So I'm going to be doing an open mic where I talk about a prepping idea one day a week. One day a week I'm going to talk about technology, and I'm going to talk about hardware. And then from there, I am going to, I'm going to do my weekly live streams, okay? So I truly appreciate you guys, showing up, being a part of this live stream. So I have also done I've also created memberships. If you want early access to videos and like all the pictures that I take and stuff like that, I'm going to be posting them in the members only. It's $2.99. I made sure to make it as inexpensive as possible. That was the least amount that I could do as far as what YouTube would let me do. You could also come over to Patreon. So all of this, eventually what I want to do is I want to be able to get a place of my own so that I can be inside, I can have a quiet environment, and I can actually talk with you guys, okay? But, as long as I'm out here in the public, this is what I'm going to have to deal with, and I'm trying to learn to tolerate it, but it is difficult in some ways, just because for me, loud noises kind of pique my anxiety just because of where my PTSD comes from. Okay, so the ways in which I'm trying to be able to gather enough funds, I'm not just putting it in one basket and saying come over to Patreon. I'm not, or hey, I need money in my tip jar. You can also give me Bitcoin, which I can use in a different way. You guys can also become members. Let's see, you guys can also go through my affiliate links. If you look down, and I strongly suggest, if you were planning on getting a Linux computer, I put three different versions there. They have the same or better specs than my HP Omen. And not only that, they're about half the price. They have a mini tower that is like, wow. I was impressed by it. That's why I put it there. But that mini tower is like $300. The reason why it's so inexpensive is because you're not paying all these licensing fees. Plus, you get access to free software that you don't have to pay for. I get a commission off of it, and you get a decent machine, and you get to learn Linux right along with me. Because for me, this is a learning experience as well. Okay, so there are many ways that you can help out the channel. I have many baskets that I'm trying to get filled, so that it brings me to a point where I can actually get a roof over my head and do this full time, because the amount of research and the amount of time that goes into recording and editing, it really is a 40-hour plus a week job. It's not something that's like point, click, record, okay, I'm done. No, I do have a talent to where I don't have to do too many takes, because I already got the content in my head. But as I do more and more, it's gonna be a little bit harder for me to really just point, click, and record, because it requires that I spend hours researching. So for every 15-minute video, it's probably going to take me anywhere from 10 to 20 hours worth of research to make sure that I bring you proper content, and then it's probably going to take me another 5 hours just to edit the video and make sure that it is entertaining enough, and I'm cutting out all the dumb stuff. Okay, and I'm making it flow so that it keeps you guys engaged, because that plays into the ad revenue and it plays into subscriptions. Another way, if you don't want to help out monetarily, the best way that you can help out, and it's free to you, is to become a subscriber. Is to hit that bell notification and get notified for all the videos I release, and watch the videos, for content and for entertainment, because there is something to be learned, and I'm offering a unique point of view that most preppers in the prepping community do not offer. So again, there are many ways you can help out the channel. Some of them are free. Okay. Some of them are, okay, so OBS disconnected and reconnected. All right, I'm getting notifications here. So anyways, it's a win-win for everybody, okay? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave this. I will, if you want to become a member, you'll get early access to videos. I try and get them uploaded no later than Monday, so that I've got so that I'm always a week ahead. So you'll get early access to videos. You'll get member-only posts in the community, so like all the pictures that I take that are really pretty actually, and or sharing my story, you'll get access to those, which it won't be over in the free side. Or again, you can come over to Patreon. I have behind the scenes and I have hobo tutorials, and I may be getting rid of the hobo tutorials, but I may not. I think the behind the scenes is really where I have the most traction there. Either that, or I might change some things around. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for being my subscribers, and thank you for all that you do to help me out. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. and hopefully I will be in a quieter place. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button.